My nephew injured my son's service dog so badly that he couldn't stand, and that was the day I saw my father lose his composure for the very first time. My son has lived with epilepsy since he was 5 years old. His service dog, Bruno, has warned us before seizures more times than I can count. That dog has saved my child's life. We were driving to my parents' house for Thanksgiving, and I dreaded the visit because my 13-year-old nephew had always been rough with animals. The worst part was that my sister never made him face consequences. About 6 months earlier, Bruno woke me in the middle of the night. He kept pawing at my son's chest and refused to stop until I got out of bed. When I reached my son's room, his lips were turning blue. At the hospital, the doctor looked straight at me. If your dog's alert had come even a few minutes later, he said, your son could have suffered permanent brain damage, or worse. Years before that, when my nephew was only 9, he squeezed his pet hamster until it died. At the tiny funeral, my sister insisted it was just an accident. He loved it too much. He didn't realize how strong he was. I remember watching my nephew's face. No sadness, no regret, nothing. My father was 63 years old. In my entire life, I had never heard him yell. Not when my sister totaled his car in high school. Not when my brother stole money from his wallet. Whenever conflict happened, he'd always say, let's calm down. We're family. We'll work it out. Before our trip, I called him. Dad, I don't think Bruno is safe around my nephew. He answered gently. It'll be okay. I'll keep an eye on him. Just get through Thanksgiving. We arrived Sunday afternoon. Within the first hour, I caught my nephew cornering Bruno in the kitchen and yanking his tail so hard the poor dog cried out. My sister barely looked away from her phone. He's only playing. He's a dog, not a baby. I found my father. He rested a hand on my shoulder. I'll talk to him. Monday evening at dinner, my nephew kept kicking Bruno beneath the table. Every time his foot connected, Bruno flinched and looked at me with pleading eyes. My sister immediately defended her son. Bruno snapped at him first. He's just protecting himself. Across the table, my nephew smirked. He knew it wasn't true. Tuesday afternoon, my son came running to me in tears because Bruno had disappeared. We searched the entire house. Nearly an hour later, I found Bruno locked inside the dark basement. He was trembling. Meanwhile, my nephew sat upstairs playing video games as though nothing had happened. My sister shrugged. The dog kept begging for food. I actually think he did everyone a favor. That evening, I told my father we were packing up and leaving. He grabbed both of my hands. Please, just stay through Thanksgiving dinner. One more day. I promise I'll make sure nothing else happens. I should have trusted my instincts. Thanksgiving morning, I was helping my mom prepare dinner when I heard Bruno yelp from the living room. Then another cry. Then a sound I'd never heard from him before. I ran in. My nephew stood there with his hands shoved into his pockets. Bruno lay on the floor crying. He tried to stand, but one of his back legs bent at a horrifying angle. I dropped beside him. My nephew simply shrugged. He wouldn't stop following me. My sister walked into the room and rolled her eyes. He's fine. Dogs bounce back. You're overreacting. I looked at her in disbelief. Your son just broke my son's service dog's leg. She folded her arms. Maybe if your child wasn't so dependent on an animal, this wouldn't be such a big deal. Then I heard footsteps. My son walked into the room. The moment he saw Bruno lying there, his face fell apart. He rushed over, knelt beside him, and gently stroked his head. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Then I noticed my son's left hand begin to twitch. Bruno noticed too. Even with a shattered leg, he started dragging himself toward my son, because protecting him was what he'd been trained to do. Seconds later, my son's eyes rolled back. He collapsed into a full seizure. Bruno kept pulling himself forward, using only his front legs. Every movement made him whimper in pain, but he never stopped trying to reach my son. That's when my father walked into the room. He froze. My son convulsing on the floor. Bruno crawling toward him despite the broken leg. My nephew standing there watching it all without a trace of emotion. Then my father exploded. Get out of my house. The words echoed through the room.